Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the call. Good morning to those of you in Australia. My name is Dr. Kirk Visnick. I'm up here in Fargo, North Dakota. It's Friday night, and it's time to get the call rolling. This is the Sisel World Team update call, and tonight is the last Friday of the month, and we try and make the last Friday all about stories and testimonials. And the reason that we do that is that we find that facts tell and stories sell. And as we let other people know what's going on, how they're responding to different products, we find that that it's easier to go out and share it because people want to find out, what did you say that he had? What did you say went away when he started using those products? What products are those? And that's really what you want, is you want people to ask you that question, what or why or how. You want them to ask you that question, because then now their ears are tuned in. Instead of just hearing, they're actually listening, right? And there's a difference between listening and hearing. And so I always try and tell people that. And one of the things that I've seen is that we can be really scientific. We can be so full of facts and figures and all those things, and it blows people away. It really does, and sometimes it blows them away so much that they go, oh, yeah, I don't know, and then they hear somebody else come along and they tell a simple story, something like, hey, I had pain in my toe and now it's gone, and they get more out of the I had pain in my toe and now it's gone than they did knowing about what's the latest thing on single nucleotide polymorphisms. Right? They could care less because they don't know what they are and they don't know how it affects their body. So anyhow, that's kind of how I'm going to start the call tonight, and just really say that I enjoy all of you coming here and be part of the call and making this possible. And it's your stories that we share with everybody, and we get them to know what we're doing. I'm looking for a buddy of mine. He's got a really good story, and I've been trying to get him. There he is. I've been trying to get him to jump on the call and share his story for a while. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my friend Ed Davis on the call. And Ed, if you would, I've unmuted you. Tell a little bit about what's going on. Tell a little bit about your condition, how long you've had it, and what happened last summer, and what's been happening since January of this year.
Okay, here's my deal. Been a type 1 diabetic for 44 years and run an insulin pump, so fairly well controlled. And 2 summers ago, Kurt, not one, Kurt and I were actually going to go fishing on a Sunday morning. And I got up and my right eye was kind of blurry. And I complained about it all day, and Monday went to see a specialist because I am a diabetic. And by then, my vision is, instead of being 20/20, it's 20/2200. So I'm virtually blind in my right eye. And I put up with that for a year and a half, and tried different things and different supposed remedies. And then Kurt gets me on the age pill. So I take it for 30 days. I'm just going to start my second bottle, and I happen to have a eye doctor appointment. So I go in, and I'm telling him that I'm on this age pill, and of course he doesn't know anything about it, and I don't know exactly what's in it. I just trust Kurt. So we go, and they're testing my eyes again, and I go from 20/2200 to 20/2150 in 30 days, and I've been taking it ever since. And vision is still a little blurry, but it's an improvement, and that's why I stay on it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is is that you had tried a number of things, even some of the different products I'd thrown at you, and nothing seemed to make a difference. This is the first one where you're saying, you know, now you can kind of see blurry shapes anyhow, right?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I can make things out. You know, I still wouldn't be able to read a sign as I drive by it. But am I going to know there's a sign there? Absolutely. So it has improved.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Ed, I know you got to go, and I appreciate you taking the time to jump on. And down the road, maybe 6 months from now or so, as you continue to improve, and after we catch a few more fish, then I'll get you back on the call.
All right. Sounds good, Kurt. We'll talk to you guys later.
Ed. Have a great night. All right. So now we're going to run up to Jane Duffy. And Jane, if you could, if you and your husband could share kind of your stories, what's going on. I've got you unmuted.
Okay. I'm Jane from Michigan, and I'm a hairdresser for 42 years. And I've been pretty healthy all my life. And when I hit my late 50s, I started seeing issues with my body. My hands were dry, cracking, itchy. I'm trying to think some other things. But anyways, I knew there was something going on in my body, inflammation. Well, all these years, I just never thought about what shampoos, perms, color, all that did to my body through the years. And so I started eating healthier. And so I was looking, and my husband, he'll tell his story, but I was looking for him too. And so I seen on Facebook, Andrea was running different things, and I kept watching it and reading it. And so I finally got a hold of her and asked her about this age pill. Well, we've been on the age pill since the end of November. And the things I improved, my skin is a lot more supple. It's healthy now. My skin's softer. I'm just detoxed a lot because of the stuff that was in my system. I could just tell I was really tired the first few weeks of taking it because I just knew I was detoxing. And so things are improving, and my knees are getting stronger because we do take the Sisel rip. I'm trying to think some other stuff we do. And another thing that I was noticing is I have older customers than me, and they would ask, they couldn't think of the word. And then I was starting to not be able to think of the word, and I thought, I can't be, there's something going on with my brain. And so that's improving. I can recall things better. And what else? The veins in my legs from standing all these years, they're less prominent as time goes on with this age pill. Let's see what else. And my age spots are diminishing. So
wow.
So anyways, there's things happening. It's slow process with me, but it's coming along really good. So I feel a lot better.
And that's the whole thing, Jane, is that when you take a look at it, once you get to be past the age of 50, I mean, you've gone from when you were 20, you had one stem cell for every 10,000 cells, and now at the age of 50, we have one stem cell for every 250,000 approximately. And as you get older, like my dad's age, you get closer to 80, you have one stem cell for every 2 million cells in your body. So you do expect that if you're over the age of 40 or 50, it's going to take a little bit longer. So you're coming along really nicely. You should be going, wow, it's changing quickly. I mean, that's awesome. How long have you been on the age pill?
Since the end of November.
Okay. Yeah. So really about 5 months now, almost 6 months. Great. That's good changes. Thank you.
Yep.
And now your husband, James, he's had some changes as well, right?
Yep. A lot.
Yep, a lot. Just a couple of weeks ago, about 20 years ago, I was putting up a basketball backstop and net for the daughters, and I was lifting it up to set it up, and it spun around, so I grabbed a hold of it, and it jerked the heck out of my shoulder, and I'd never been able to lift my hand above my head. for, well, 25 years. When I was doing some overhead build out for my daughter's condo, I'd have to hold the power drill in my right hand and use my left hand to lift it over my head. A couple of weeks ago, I noticed, geez, I can lift my hand way over my head. That was just one little thing I noticed here in the last couple of weeks, but I've been diagnosed with diabetes type 2. I had neuropathy in my legs and in my feet, and when you have that numbness in your feet, you start to walk funny. So and I take Jane shopping. I just sat in the car, but now that's basically gone away, and I'm walking correctly. So that's kind of gone away. There's no more numbness in my legs.
So the age pill is saving you money because you control Jane's shopping now?
Yes, I follow right behind her now. You know, when you go into these big box stores, there's a lot of walking. And I used to just sit in the car and wait for her, but now I go in and just go for a walk to see what's up in the store.
There you go. And then she's taking items off the shelf, you put in a bag.
Yes. Except when it comes to chocolate, I put the chocolate back in.
There you go.
Anyway, I think in 2015, I basically didn't have any energy. When it snows up here, Jane would basically shovel the circle drive. It's quite a long drive, and I'd sit in the house because I didn't feel like going out. Well, this winter when we had all the snow, I'd go out and clean the driveway and then go over and do my neighbors and come back and finish mine off. So I had a lot more energy.
Wow.
That's really amazing for me. So.
Did your neighbor ask you what changed? I mean, if I would have been your neighbor, I would have been saying, "Hey, James, what's going on?"
No, I think she was in school teaching, and we had about 8 inches of snow, so I had the snow blower, and I took it over there and blew her driveway out. But anyway, I got a lot more energy. So, and
you've been on it too since November?
Yeah, we're on several products, but it certainly helps me.
We're on the Triangle of Life too, and Supra Plus Omega, and Brain Vitality. And so, and I noticed my husband, he was going backwards instead of, I mean, his health was declining. So that's why I was online looking at for stuff. And so now when he goes back to the doctor, we're hoping he can get off some of this medicine he's on, because every time he went, he was getting more medicine to fix something that they had done before, and it was just crazy and out of hand. And
they had me on 4 meds, and one was that Incovana or whatever they call it. And I keep reading on the web that people are having their toes and feet amputated from that. So basically, I cut that one in half, and I'm about ready to toss that one away. So
excellent. Well, work with your doctor, because that's the whole thing. You know, we can't diagnose or treat or make any claims of that on a call like this or anything like that. So work with your doctor, and I try and tell people that. Work with their doctor, and that way the doctor's going to start seeing these products as well, and maybe in the future they'll prescribe them to other people too. So, well, thanks, James. I appreciate that, and thanks Jane for sharing your story. That's powerful. Let's run out to Utah, and let's talk to Jessica out in Utah. Jessica, are you with me? I think I got you unmuted. Jessica?
Oh, I'm here.
There you go. Good. Jessica, if you could share your story. Now, I know yours is a little different. It's not really having to do with so much as far as like any medical conditions, no diabetes, anything like that. But just, you know, you're young and a mother and a working gal and that, you know, business owner, entrepreneur, all of that. Tell us a little bit about what's been happening with you and what products you're taking with Sisel.
So I'm taking the age pill and Fucoidin, and I take Eternity. I take Balance D. I do the Sisel lean and the Sisel rift. When I first started I started taking Percoitin a long time ago when the company first started, and life happened, and I got off the products and whatever, which I should have never done, but I did. And then I came back, and in December of 2016, we went ahead and ordered some more Percoitin. What we were doing for work was going to be pretty taxing, and it had already worked wonders for my husband and his knees. He had damaged his knees a bunch playing sports and things like that when he was a teenager, and so we had already had incredible results with his knees not hurting anymore, just from the first round that we had been introduced to Sisel. So then, so we started again. I got Percoitin about December of 2016. And then in 2017, I started the weight loss program. I lost 24 pounds with Sisel products in four and a half months, and I was able to keep it off, which I had never been able to do before by just taking the supplements and maintaining my normal everyday life, which was crazy. But I didn't really exercise normal or anything like that. I just kept taking the supplements and keeping active with what I did every day. But I noticed in 2017, I was like, oh, wow, the trees are blooming. There's certain kinds of trees blooming, and I'm not having hay fever. I also have horses, which means I have to do hay and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not allergic to the horse, I'm allergic to what they eat. So I noticed also that I was getting stronger because I loaded an entire flatbed with 80 bales, and each of them were 75 pounds each, and I didn't sneeze or have hay fever. So just doing a couple bales before, I would have been sneezing my head off, my eyes have been watering, and it would have thrown me right into hay fever just a little while after doing that. So anyway, last year was my first year. I noticed, like, hey, I'm not suffering with allergies. That's cool. And the thing that I can account it to is the Percoitin, because when I listen to the doctor's calls about the autoimmune system and all that, I learned that allergies are an autoimmune disorder because your immune system is overreacting. And so it made sense to me why I wasn't struggling, because I took Percoitin religiously and never ran out. And then again, this year, it's springtime in Utah. Things are blooming. I've done stalls. I've done hay. I've done everything all winter, and I've not had any problems at all. And so I'm noticing again for the second year that I don't really have allergies. And I've had allergies since I was a kid. It's like I had to take medicine, and the medicine makes you sleepy, and you can't really function. So it's like you either deal with the way you feel like crap, or you take medicine and you still feel like crap. So I'm really thankful for the supplements, because not only can I have relief from my allergies, but I'm getting stronger and healthier, and I can do more stuff, and I can do the things that I couldn't do before. I've had 2 C-sections, and for 5 years after my last C-section, I struggled with some major pain. Like, I felt like my scar was going to rip open all the time. If I cleaned stalls, if I didn't lifting hay, anything like that, my scar would hurt intensely for a few days. And so after taking Percoitin for about 3 months, then I started to notice about 3 months after taking Percoitin that was going away, and I don't have that problem anymore. I can do planks, I can do push-ups, I can do pull-ups, where I couldn't do those before without having some serious pain where my C-section scar was.
All right. Well, thank you, Jessica. Thanks for sharing. And I'll tell you, everyone, if you want to see some body changes, Jessica, she's posted her picture on Facebook, and you look amazing. Thank you. And it's just fun to hear your allergies are gone. Wow, I didn't even know that. Thank you.
I love it. It's amazing.
All right. Well, we're going to go clear across the world. We're going to go down to Australia, and we're going to talk to Jeff Scott. Jeff, I think I got you unmuted. I think I have the right number. Are you there?
Yes, I am, yep.
There you are. Jeff, Yeah, it was nice seeing you way back. It seems like a long time ago already, but it was only 2.5 months ago. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen since you've been on the Sisel products.
Well, I'll just talk about something that happened fairly recently. I was on my, I got a four-wheeler motorbike. We've got a few acres and all this long grass, and it used to happen regularly if I go riding on the bike without something to protect my eyes just end up a mess. And I forgot to put goggles on or something. Well, we were looking for the next door neighbour's dog. It had diabetes and whatever. Anyway, I came back and I thought it's time to take 2 age pills. So because my eyes were getting itchy, and I thought, oh, I know those symptoms. And so I didn't think much about it. But anyway, I took the 2 age pill. I think it must have been about 15 minutes, and the itchiness and the soreness and everything basically stopped within about 15 minutes. And it must have been, I realised also that I'd been on, I've been taking the age pill about 6 a day, and I took them, it must have been about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyway, I'd have to use Visine, I have to, I'd go to bed, they just all blow up, But the only thing that I can attribute it to is the age pill, because it just suddenly stopped, boom, Mm-hmm. So that just blew me away,
Wow.
Yeah, and just recently, I've got knees that are, pretty well arthritis. When I was a boy, I had all these boils, it sounds gross, but anyway, I had all around my knees, and they must I'm 72 now, but it must have left scar tissue or whatever happens. But anyway, I was having a shower yesterday morning. My knees had all sort of blown up out of shape and stuff. They must have been they were swollen. Anyway, I looked down yesterday morning whilst having a shower, and they look as if they've resumed their normal shape of that all the swelling had gone down, almost all gone down. So they're back to where they were, when I was a lot younger. So.
Oh wow, that's a great change. You'll have to take. Do you have any old photos? I'm sure you do. Sometime when you were wearing shorts, and if you could take, kind of a similar type of photo and just as a comparison, that would be a great testimonial for people to see.
Yeah. Well, I was a bit worried about. What I started taking the age pill, and my right hand, I had a hairline fracture of the scaphoid, and I think I was only taking about 3 a day, and there was this ache thing in my, where the scaphoid, the ache was very similar to when I actually injured the hand, had the hairline fracture. But anyway, so I sort of backed off a bit. Anyway, what prompted me to, Sandy said, you got to up the dosage. I said, okay. Anyway, one night, I forget how long ago, it was fairly recent. I upped the dose. I said, I'm just going to take more. And I think it was just before I went to bed, I thought, have I taken those 2? Extra, I'd take 2 in the morning, 2 in midday, 2 at night. And I thought, no, I can't remember. So anyway, I took a couple more. And I got up, the usual procedure at night, go to the toilet, whatever. And my legs were completely different. All the aches and pains that sort of have been there for years, it was just completely gone. And I thought, blow this, I'm going to increase the dose from now on. I've got to, because that's the quickest and easiest way to get all this arthritis, or whatever you call it, sort of healed. And so that's what I've been doing. And now the swelling has gone out of my knees, and and I'm going to keep that dosage rate up, so that'll we'll just keep getting better and better.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing. I appreciate that, Jeff. you've had some really good changes. That's just really, really good. And if we can continue to get updated from you along the way, that would be good too. I always like to update people. Maybe like in 6 months we can get you back on.
Okay. Well, I'll see if I can find some photographs of the way they were. I don't know whether I have, because they sort of all swollen up. I tended to wear long trousers and try and cover them up because I felt a bit awkward about it, you know. But anyway, now it's just, I got the shock of my life. I looked down and having a shower and I thought, gee, they look the way they were. So
there you go.
Anyway.
You're turning into a 20-year-old man again. I love it.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Jeff. We're going to run down to down in Australia again. We'll go over to Joan. Joan, I've got you unmuted. If you could jump on and tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life, what you've noticed for changes.
Hi. Yes, I live in Mackay in Queensland, and I've put my brother's partner onto the age pill. She's 90 years old, and she's in a home. She wasn't able to get out of bed by herself or go to the toilet by herself. We gave her one twice a day to start with because of her age. And within 3 days, she figured out how to get out of bed and walk with her walker. And then with the toilet, they used to have a lifter to put her on the toilet. And now she doesn't even have to have that.
No kidding.
No, that's true. And we had her on the one in the morning and one at night for about 2-3 weeks. And she was making so much progress, it's unbelievable. And she had a bingo. They had bingo they wanted her to play, and they took her down to bingo, and they offered to help her to play, and she said, no, I can play, I know how to play. And she actually won a game. And she couldn't even hardly talk, let alone play. And then now she's eating all of her meals, which she used to only pick at it. And yeah, it's just huge, the difference in her. We cannot believe it. It's about 5 weeks. But she's on 2 now, twice a day. And
she's on two age pills?
Yes, twice a day.
Just 2, and she's seen those changes already just with 2.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
And she's able to go to the toilet by herself. They do occasionally have to help her off the toilet, but apart from that, she's walking around with a walker. She was even walking by herself, but they decided, you know, no, if you fall over or something, you know, might be best just to use your walker. Yeah, and it's just amazing, eh? And then I've got a 97-year-old, my mother-in-law. We put her on it, and she is back to her old normal self. There's not huge changes in, it's more the brain and acknowledging and asking how people are and things like that, which she wasn't doing. And
so she's getting some of that memory and that cognition back.
Yes, yes. And she's she's 97, and she lives by herself. She's got a grandson there at the moment, but it's amazing what it's doing. My daughter goes to see her. My daughter's a chiropractor, and she goes to see her twice a week, and they've upped her dose now to 2 twice a day, but she was on 1 only twice a day, and she's been on it about a month. But Denise said, I've got my nana back. So that was really good, and we're real happy with that. And then I had another man I gave to. I've got a few patients that I give it to. His PSA within less than a week dropped from 6 down to 5. That's for his prostate.
Right.
Yeah. And then with myself, my husband, he's taking the brain vitality, I think they call it, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes that and he said his memory's improving. He said he can see a big difference. And he's taken the other one for his eyes. And that's the vision, Vitavision.
Vitavision, yeah.
Yeah, and he said his eyes definitely are improving. And he's more calmer with the age pill. He said he's a very aggressive sort of person, really, but he's calmed right down with this age pill. So that's another one.
That's a lot of changes with people in your family.
Oh, gosh, yes. And then with myself, my skin's improved, my nails growing much harder, and they grow very quickly. And my husband's hair changed to dark too. He's going dark. And we both take 3 twice a day though. And my thyroid, I don't get cracked feet anymore because I've got thyroid problems.
Mm-hmm.
And my feet used to be sore when I walked on them. That's gone. And yeah, and thinking heaps better. Thinking.
Wow.
Heaps better.
You know, I bet nobody could take your age pill away from you now, huh?
No. Well, I'm 75. And yeah, and I'm very active. I mean, I'm plastering today. I'm going to plaster and help my daughter. But you're
doing plastering. Wow.
Plastering the walls. Yes. So,
I bet a lot of people over the age of 70 would love to just be able to walk normal, and here you are, you're out working.
Yes, and I sing, and my voice I feel's improved. I sing a lot for charity and do a lot of stuff, you know. And I write songs and do my own music. Yeah, but I find that I'm more interested now in it than I was, and because it's made me a lot better in myself. Yeah. So
super. Well, when I come down there next winter, I'll have to have you sing a song for me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've got CDs out. I've got 7, and they play it all around Australia at the moment. Yeah. So super. I'll probably get into some more.
All right.
So,
well,
yeah.
Thanks, June, for sharing, and I really appreciate it. Wow, you had a lot of changes in your family. You know, like me, chances are you'll never go off these Sisel products. That's so fantastic. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh, and another thing, digestive. I suffered terrible with digestion, and I have not got that anymore. And I've been on it for 2 months. Yeah.
Wow, you've only been on it for 2 months.
Yep.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like in a year?
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
There you go. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We're gonna run up to Canada now.
Okay,
so we'll go back over here to North America. Thanks, Joan. Thanks for sharing. And Alan, you know, I know you've had a lot of health problems in your life. Tell us a little bit about what's going on since you've been on the age pill, and since you've been on all the products, really.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome from beautiful Canada. Actually, I haven't had health problems all my life. It's only in the last 11 years since I had my snowmobile accident. Before that, I never had any health problems. And then after my snowmobile accident, all hell broke loose. And, you know, it was a such thing as replacing nerves and nerve transplants and muscle transplants and having open heart surgery and a pacemaker put in and being clinically dead 3 times and wind up with diabetes. It was just a never ending thing. You know, 8 years ago, I contacted Tom Maurer and we started talking about some of the ingredients, some of the products and things like that. And, you know, here we are 8 years later now, and my health has absolutely turned around 100%. Not only just because most people are talking about the Age product right now, but I'm talking of all the products that have come along in the last 8 years through Sisel. You know, the Triangle Life, the Frequoitin, the Spectromax, the Eternity, and a lot of people don't understand that what Eternity is the fountain of youth. It takes a certain one gene and escalates it, or what we call gives it a reboot. And that's your aging gene, and it starts to reactivate that in the body, And that was one of the biggest things back after I had my nerve transplants done, as the eternity. And then when they brought along the Sisel, I was diagnosed already with type 2 diabetes, and that's not a fun thing. I was always worried, and diabetes does not run in our family. It was strictly because I'd gained the belly fat and the years of playing hockey and on the road and bad eating, and eventually it kicked in, and I wound up with type 2 diabetes and wound up going on metformin, two pills in the morning, 2 in the evening, 2,000 milligrams a day, and not a fun when you start to say, hey, I got to live with diabetes. And so I did a lot of studying on diabetes. I did a tremendous lot of studying on because I knew that diabetes can be beaten. You don't have to live with diabetes. Type 1's a little bit different, but type 2, you do not have to live with it. So Tom, I remember talking to Tom about 5 years ago, and I said, Tom, if you can bring out a shake, if you can bring out a shake with no sugar, bring out with a great protein, and add everything into it, I mean, it would be incredible. And he did. Tom brought about a micellar protein product. I started taking that thing every single morning along with the healthy coffee. I mean, the coffee's to die for, folks. It's just probably the greatest coffee you're ever going to drink. And I'd have a banana, and that's what my morning consisted of. And that was 5 years ago. And I continued, and I continued that. I continued on the products. And I just came back from my 2.5-year checkup. Or I actually get tested every 3 months because of my open heart and my diabetes. But now I've been clean of diabetes now for 2 years and 3 months. Now that's extraordinary. My doctors are so excited because 2 years and 2.5 years now, my sugar levels have been anywhere from 5.8 to 6.1, which is absolutely excellent. But not only along with that, you know, diabetes goes along with coronary artery disease. It goes along with the cholesterol problem. And then that's a very serious problem. Well, I can tell you now, my cholesterol levels are perfect. My coronary, I'm doing anywhere from roughly 10 to 15 kilometers every single day, and no sign, like I said, no sign of diabetes, no sign of any heart. In fact, my heart is just unbelievable. And you know, when I went on the H pill in July of last year, I remember when they brought the product out. I was one of the very first ones to go on the product. And I wound up with atypical cancer cells last summer and last fall. Took a hell of a scare. I wound up with 2 cysts in my liver, my kidney. And so I went in to see the specialist, got all the blood work done, and sure as heck, we had atypical cancer cells. And if you ever want to look that up, that's the starting of cancer. And that turns into tumors. And we were scared that those 2 cysts might have been turned into tumors already. So we started going through, and I started continuing, and I upped the dosage of the H pill. And in September, we had all the blood work and everything done in September and August. And then in September, I went into the specialist in Saskatoon and had all the inner work done where they go inside you, and they tested and checked those 2 cysts, and they were not malignant. There was no cancer, but we had these cancer cells. So I was treated for 1 month with the chemo pill, not radiate, I didn't have to go in for chemo. I was actually treated with the pill, and along with that, I was taking the H pill. And if you do any work and any understanding of the H pill, what it does to cells and killing off bad cells, it's quite important. Because when I went back in December for my blood work, when I had all my blood work done the end of November, I went back to my doctor in December. My blood work, everything was absolutely 100%. No atypical cancer cells. But not only that, we did an ultrasound, and those 2 cysts were completely gone away from my bladder. So here we go from having atypical cancer cells in the kidney and in the bladder, which is 2 of the worst places you can get it. And it could spread very quickly. And we caught it. And we were able to quarantine it. And not only that, we were able to kill it. So those are quite significant changes that I could tell you about. Number one, the diabetes. And if you have not been on micellar protein, if you're not taking the Sisel every single morning, you're a diabetic, please get on it as fast as possible. And you got to be on the H pill. I mean, it's the bomb of the bomb of the bomb. It's probably the greatest nutritional supplement that's ever come along in my 40 years of doing this industry. I'm in my 40th year of the network marketing industry. Out of those 40 years, I've been involved with health products, and I can tell you honestly, this product the age pill is the greatest product that I've seen come along in all those 40 years. And I'll tell you what, you can take this product and singly build your whole company just on that one product and introduce. And that's what I do. I introduce people to the company on one product. I don't talk about all the other products. I'm telling you about a few because of my own testimonial, but I start to talk to people about that one product, and that leads to everybody else. So we're excited about that, and I'm happy to be on the call tonight, and I'm going to turn the call back. So we're going to a concert tonight, and my sister and my cousin, because it's a benefit concert to a bunch of the hockey players that were killed up here. So I got to run. Take care, Kurt.
All right. Thanks, Alan. Thanks for sharing your story with everybody. Thank you. Have fun. So, you know, as you listen to these calls and you listen to the testimonials, you start thinking, why if the products are so good, why don't the doctors recommend it? You know, and I'm gonna end the call by saying this. You know, here in the United States, anyhow, I can't speak for any other country, but I'm just gonna say that here in the United States, one of the problems with the current healthcare system is that the profit motive seems to stand in the way. It supports the current healthcare system, but it's not the best healthcare system. And if we take a look at just what's going on in the United States, you know, when you look at where we're ranked, according to the World Health Organization, WHO, 2014, the World Health Organization's ranking of the world's healthcare systems, they said that the United States doesn't even rank in the top 25. They said that in 2017, the United States healthcare system ranked the worst in all of the developed world. And that's why you're not going to go to your doctor. You're not going to find doctors like me around every corner that are going to be looking at products like this. And so when you hear these stories, the only way that your neighbors, the only way that your coworkers, the only way that your friends and your family and people you've just met today, the only way that they're going to hear about this is if you share it with them. And that's the importance of this call, is that these stories, these are real people. I didn't know what anybody was going to say tonight. I had no clue what they were going to bring to the call. And so I think it's important that you get out and you share this with everybody. It's going to be posted to the YouTube channel, Sisel World Team YouTube channel. And so you can share that with people. Let them know what's going on. And thanks for taking the time tonight to be on the call with us. And thanks for being there. And thanks for sharing this with other people. And everybody that got on the call tonight, thanks for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. And for all of you that helping us find the people to get on here, I really appreciate it. Have a great night. Have a great end of the month. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye-bye.